The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
Welcome to this edition of Alpha Sessions. My name's Ron Laver, and with me today I have Helena Mace. Hello, Helena. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Nice
Yeah,
to
good.
be on the
Good.
show. Nice, thank you.
You're more than welcome. You're a country pop artist, singer songwriter, based in the south of England. Um, Tell me something about your background.
Oh, okay. Well, I was brought up on the Isle of Wight. That's where my family still live, and my dad was in a band as well, so I was kind of brought up in the industry. I'm a qualified financial advisor, but I left that when I had my child 16 years ago and became a full-time singer. And I live in Bournemouth now, so I'm over in Bournemouth, and I moved here with my 20s. So I've been on the south coast all my life.
What drew you to music rather than following your career?
Yeah, well, basically, I'd always wanted to do music. It was just I fell into a career by accident, really. I had a job, and it just fell into that. It was when I had my daughter Cassidy that I thought that so I could spend time with her, that I would change my life. And I got made redundant from where I was working, and it kind of all sort of went in the right direction from then. I thought, well, I've been doing some dabbling with singing. I've been singing all my life, and this was time to now do it while she was a baby, which meant I could spend all day with her and then work at night. So that's how it kind of went, and then it just progressed. I was doing covers, which I still do at gigs, and I think probably about late 2000s, about 2008, 2010, I started doing original music, and it was only 5 years ago, really, I started really getting heavily into it.
How did you find that writing your own music? Did it come easy to you, or
Oh,
did you have to work? I mean, are you one of those that will say, "I couldn't listen to any of my early songs," or are you still proud of them?
it's a hard job. I wrote lyrics when I was a very young child. I used to write poetry and lyrics, and things. I never played an instrument, so I couldn't write music. But I did some sort of co-writes with someone in Germany in 2008, which we recorded an album. It's not the best album, but it was kind of an introduction into going into the original music industry, and I got to tour Germany a few times. But now, started picking up the guitar a few years ago, and then started to write my own melodies, and I think that's when it really moved forward. And now I find it quite not easy. It's probably the wrong word, but I find I get inspired easier than before. Now I can play music.
What does your writing process look like? Um, d- do you pick up inspiration from just various odd places, or is it something that has to have moved you and you want to write about?
It's an interesting question because it changes. I think with songwriting, you do get very much inspired by your own life and the life of others around you. You could be moved by certain situations. I've written stuff from love songs to songs about just real life and songs about my hometown. It's the writing process for me changes. I get inspired fairly easily, to be honest. I've been around a while now, so I've got a lot to write about.
And you're a real jobbing performer, aren't you?
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean, you play gigs regularly, as you say, and you do a lot of covers because people like to hear that
That's what they want to hear. Yeah.
when you're doing those sort of gigs, don't they? Yeah. And you're going to sing some songs for us today, and a couple of them you're playing with a band.
Yes.
Now, is that your own band, or is that a group that you just teamed up with on
We
that occasion?
Yeah, we team up regularly. We're not an official band. I go out as a solo, but the band that I got together play on some of my music. Anyway, the percussion player is my husband. Anyway, so he
All
has no
right.
choice.
Yeah.
The harmonica player, the harmonica player is called Cy Gennaro, and he plays on a lot of my records on the albums as well. He's fantastic. And the other guitarist is a guy that I've done a duet with before, and he's played on a few of my shows. And he's called Matt Griffiths. He's actually in a captain in a local in Blanford Army camp. And there's me playing guitar and lead vocals as well.
How long have you been recording now?
Right, okay. Well, 2008, I did with the guys from Germany, and then I did a couple of years of that, and then took a hiatus for a while. And in 2016, I did my self-pen stuff, and I'm now on my fifth album since 2016.
And are your albums always all self-penned now?
And the first album, Wash Away the Years, was I had a couple of co-writes on there, and one of them was written by my dad back when I was a little girl. The second album, Chasing Dreams, was pretty much all me, apart from again one with my dad. And then I did one called Unbroken, which I did a couple of co-writes with, but mostly all mine. And the last one was a Christmas album, which was a lot of my versions of Christmas covers and a few originals of mine as well. And this new album is going to be pretty much all mine. Again, one written by my dad.
Your current album is Unbroken, am I right?
Yes, yes.
And one of the songs you're going to sing for us today is Save It for Another Day, which
Yes.
is on the album. Can you tell me something about that track?
Yeah, of course. It's one of my favourites actually, and it was written about the music industry, and it's about a guy who was quite something back in the day, and as he got older, he lost touch, and he was just very lonely. It's about loneliness, about the music industry. It was a very sort of more grown-up writing experience for me, and my dad thinks it's based on him, but he's kind of, I suppose, an influence to it because he was quite big in the music industry, and now he writes songs at home. He lives on his own, and he's doing well at that. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. And Unbroken, the album, was #1 in the iTunes country charts, and the single was #3.
The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
We already mentioned the fact that you're what I call a real jobbing singer, performer, and but that's not all you do, is it? I mean, you do TV, you do radio, and you're also very involved with the country music social media group.
Yes, I am. Yes. And that's a job that's been going sort of through the pandemic, really. That was kind of on and off. And I work with Ken and Rachel very closely. And I do all the voiceovers for their adverts. I do the TV shows that he puts together. Well, I actually produce them as well and do them. I host them. I do a lot of the radio stuff, all the social media management for Instagram. And we're getting a festival together for in October, which will be announced very soon. And they'll have some of our artists on there as well. So yeah, heavily involved with that.
How did you get involved in that in the first place?
Ken added me on Facebook a few years ago, and he was trying to get me to sign up to what he does, and I did eventually. And in the end, he because I'm very good at social media management. Everything I've done has always been self-managed. I have no manager, I have no financial backup. I do it all myself. So he kind of cottoned onto that and asked if I'd come and help with him. And it's only recently I've been more heavily involved because I had a lot of other things to do, homeschooling my kid for one, over the pandemic period, which took up a lot of time. So yeah, I work very closely with him, and we've got a lot of big plans coming up for the future.
Because I mean, you mentioned Ken there, Ken Meakin, and also involved with the group is Rachel Shellick.
Yes, that's right.
Um, just explain for anyone who doesn't know what's it about, country music social media. I mean, are they do they have artists? Are they a promotion group? What actually is the sort of the areas that they cover?
Well, what we do is we cover, like, we will build up social media, like your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. We will also send out your songs to a lot of radio stations, hundreds of radio stations. We also offer upgrades for PR services, which Rachel does under Scarlet River PR. She's fantastic at that. And we also offer things like we do a festival, we'll try and put you in it, give promotion on that. So we all work at different things, but the general thing is to get unsigned artists out there. It's very hard to get your music out there, and the internet is the main place to do it now. So we give that a boost. We build it up. We'll do all your posts for you. We have offers where we can do your album covers, that kind of thing, which my husband does actually. So we have it's all kind of in-house. So we try and just get your music out there, get it played to radio, get you interviews on radio if need be, and do whatever we can to help push whatever you've got going.
General promotion work then, really?
Yeah, PR. I mean, so we've got some great artists on board. They're not exclusive to us. They do their own thing as well. But we've got artists like myself, Taylor Lord of the Crooks, Paul Dupe. We've had the Heartland Roots Band as well, Kicktown Breakout, all doing brilliantly, all had #1 singles. And we do a big campaign every time they get a single out. So and they're all great guys. I've met a lot of them, and they're all fantastic.
Have you been nominated for a country music award this year?
We've been nominated for several over the last couple of years, actually. I was up for nomination last year for several awards, so have been for the last couple of years. Ken won the Angel Award for UKCountryRadio.com. He won that last year, and I've been put forward for nomination for that as well, because of all the work I do, and also because of my recent health. And all my marathons and the kind of running that I do for charity, so which is lovely. So yeah, a lot of our artists do get put up for nominations, and we'll do a campaign to help promote them and get votes as well.
And you mentioned Ken there winning that award last year. It'd be great if you won it this year, wouldn't it?
It would be nice. So yeah, so please vote for me on there. It's UKCountryRadio.com, and vote for Helena Mace for the Angel Award. I'll be very appreciative.
You touched on it there. You've had some recent health problems. Can you tell us about that and how things are going now?
Yes, of course, because it's always great to raise awareness. Back in 2019, I was having problems with my ear. It was lots of tinnitus, and just in one ear, I was getting quite a fullness in my ear. I went to the doctors, and they sort of said probably an ear infection, treated me for that, because it kept going on and on. They sent me to the hospital, who found a tumour, and it's benign. Luckily, I had lots of tests. It's benign, but it can cause strokes, that kind of thing. And it was on the hearing and acoustic nerve, so I'm now deaf in that ear, and I only went deaf after having radiotherapy. I had a very big dose of radiotherapy on it. Unfortunately, it was in the middle of the pandemic. So to save me having to keep going to hospital, I was supposed to have 3 treatments, but they gave me it all at once in one session, so which wiped me out for quite some time, as you can imagine. So I lost my hearing after that, and I still get all the symptoms of it, but the tumour is now stable, and I have another scan in, I think, end of August, and hopefully that's shrunk a little bit. So it's stable now. So hopefully they've killed it. That's what they're hoping. So I don't have to go for any more radiotherapy or even brain surgery. But at the moment, it's looking really good.
Being deaf in one ear is not great for a musical artist, is it?
No, because it's strange. I've got 30% of hearing in that ear, but the 30% I have got is very distorted. So the only way I can explain it, if someone was talk direct into my bad ear, it sounds almost like a Dalek. So they can't give me a hearing aid because that will just make that worse. So I have to I've got used to it quite quickly, actually. It's amazing how resilient the human body is, and you do get used to things. And now it will never get better. I'll be like that forever. So I have to get used to it, really. But you work around it. I can still gig, I can still sing, and I can still play my guitar. So that's the most important. And I'm alive, I'm here, and it's not anything worse.
No, absolutely. Let's hear another track from you now. This is one of the covers that you do, and yes. It's a beautiful song. You've chosen the Glenn Fry, Don Henley song "Desperado."
Oh yes.
Why is this a particular favourite of yours?
I love the Eagles. I was brought up with the Eagles. I've got a lot of vinyl down here in front of me, of Eagles, which my dad gave me, and I just find them a fantastic band. I'm very into them and Fleetwood Mac, Dire Straits, that kind of stuff as well. Desperado is kind of the one I've done, is kind of the Linda Ronstadt version, again, who I think is an amazing female vocalist. I just love singing it. And I do Hotel California as well, but this one is just a stripped back version, piano-based, of Desperado, and I think it's just a great song.
Okay, let's have a listen to that now.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences so long now. Oh, you're a hard one. I know that you got your reasons. The things that are pleasing you can hurt you somehow. Don't you draw the queen of diamonds, boy. She'll beat you if she's able. No, the queen of hearts is always your best bet. Now it seems to me some fine things have been laid upon your table, but you only want the ones that you can get. Desperado, oh, you ain't getting no younger. Your pain and your hunger are driving you home. Whoa, freedom, oh, freedom. Well, that's just some people talking. Your prison is walking through this world all alone. Don't you think it cold in the winter time? The sky won't snow and the sun won't shine. It's hard to tell the right time from the day. And you're saving all your highs and lows. Ain't it funny how the feeling goes away? Ooh, desperado, why don't you come to your senses? Come down from your fences, open the gate. It may be raining, but there's a rainbow above you. You better let somebody love you. Let somebody
The Alpha Sessions with Ron Laver.
We've talked about your current album, which is Unbroken, and you've touched on the fact that you've got a new album on
Yes,
the way.
I have.
Is that going to be all? Is that going to be all self-penned music?
Yep, it's all written. I've recorded nearly half of it. The only one I didn't write is one called Midnight Adar Show, which my dad wrote again, which is beautiful. I teamed up again with Matt Black, who produces all my records, and he plays piano as well, and he is fantastic. So it's actually available to download that one already. It's already had 3 songs released from it, and they've all been top 3s, I think, in the iTunes country chart. So really, really pleased with it. The next one, I've got Reflections that's just come out. I just did recently, and I have got 2 records being recorded over the next couple of weeks, and the rest I'm doing in June and July, and I'm hoping to get the album out on the end of August, and it'll be called Echoes.
And you mentioned your new single. It's available for download at the moment. It comes out on the 22nd of May.
We've had a slight change of plan with it because we decided to put them all on a record and one big sort of CD and do a compilation instead. So you can hear it on YouTube and Facebook, so you can actually listen to the song, and it's available on radio. But what I'm going to do is have them all out in August together as a collection. So it'll be my 3 previous releases, Reflections, and all my new ones as well. So there'll be lots of new music on it. So I'm really excited. And then I'm hoping to do a Christmas single again, because I had a really successful one last year. So I'm hoping to do another Christmas single, obviously nearer Christmas.
Yeah. Okay, so what's on in the future? I mean, what are you gigging around anywhere in the next sort of few months? What have you got plans for the summer? I guess festival.
Yeah, I'm doing some festivals. Yeah, we're doing the Country Music Social Media Festival, which will be confirmed soon up in Stoke. That's about the furthest I go this year, because most of my stuff is obviously South Coast based. So I've got a few festivals in the New Forest, which is fantastic. I'm doing Ilfracombe Country Music Festival as well, plus my normal standard covers gigs. Me and my husband sing together as well. We do multi-genre stuff, so we've got those. We're in Petersfield, I think, this Saturday, and yeah, we're just all over the place, wherever they pay us really, and wherever they let me play my original music as well. So I'll be pretty much everywhere for the rest of the year, then get this album out, and then do another Christmas single. So yeah, a lot going on for this year.
And what about the long term for you? What are your aspirations for the future in terms of your career?
I want to keep going doing what I'm doing. I'm cutting down mostly on the covers gigs and doing more acoustic stuff as well. But the covers gigs are great because that's my day job. I'm also a personal trainer, so I do bits and pieces like that as well, and obviously my stuff for Ken. So we want to build country music social media up and make it bigger and better. I want to do new music next year as well. Once this album's out, I won't stop there. There'll be more, and I'm probably going to do a Christmas album next year as well. On top of it, I've already done one Christmas album, which was really, really successful. So I want to do more of that and get out there and do more gigs, really, and just get my music out there and just stay well, stay healthy, and get my daughter through her GCSEs over the next few weeks as well. So it's all happening at the moment.
You leave me breathless, to be honest with you. The amount of stuff you're doing and the charity runs you do and that sort of thing. You know, I don't know how you got the time to do any of this stuff. Really, it sounds, you know, like a full-time job in itself. You know, the music side of things.
It is really, and the charity stuff. I mean, I do a lot for Nomi House Children's Hospice. We're actually doing a festival for them in July as well. And I just did a run. You may have seen on Facebook, one of those ones you run through mud and everything. I did the cancer research one. I've done the Heart Foundation one, and I'm doing another cancer research one later. Every Christmas we do a big function on the Isle of Wight, which we raise money for the Children's Hospice as well, which raises thousands. And I've been up to the hospice, and it's so humbling to go there. And these children are just incredible, brave, and their parents and their siblings. It's such a lovely place, so I like to support it as much as I can.
Absolutely, yeah, good work. Okay, I want to put a hypothetical question to you now. If you could gig with anyone, alive or dead, who would you choose to appear and you know, sing with on stage?
If I were to go to country, I mean, I'd love to sing with Stevie Nicks. I absolutely adore that woman, and also Fleetwood Mac as a whole. I'd love to be able to perform just one number. I mean, I'd love to. I think they're actually incredible. I'd love to do an acoustic one with Lindsay Buckingham as well. I know he's not in the band anymore, but I'd love to do that. I'm massively influenced in the country section by Miranda Lambert, and would love to do a duet with her. Carrie Underwood, who outsings most people, but again, would love to perform with her, or Keith Urban. And there's so many. It's just and even going back to like Elvis Presley, I'd love to do a song with him. I mean, that would just be something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. What about a location for this gig? Any sort of arenas or venues that you think, oh, that would be good to play there?
Obviously, we'd love to do the big venues over here. I mean, who wouldn't want to do the O2 or Wembley? But I'd love to do Nashville. I'd like to go to Nashville. I'd love to do the Opry, even the Bluebird, somewhere like that, where I could just sit there with my guitar and just play my songs how they were written, just stripped back and acoustic. You've got to think big, haven't you? Even if I never make it, at least I'll have tried.
Have you never been to Nashville?
No, I haven't. No, I've been to America twice, but both the times that was Florida. We're going to New York next year, but that's to treat my daughter after her GCSEs and for one of my husband's kind of birthdays. But never been to Nashville, but that's on the bucket list.
It's worth the trip. It's worth. I mean, it'd certainly be great if you could go there and perform, as you say, But just as a fan.
Yeah.
It's
I'd love to.
It's a great trip. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely would love to. But one day, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been really nice talking to you today, Helena, and thanks for your time and thanks for the music.
Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
That's perfectly okay. You're more than welcome. It's been a real pleasure. I've seen you and followed you a lot on the various social media sites, and it's nice to meet you in person. Well, almost
in person, yeah.
Yeah.
Virtually. No, it's lovely, and thank you so much for having me on your show. And I really hope you enjoy the music, and keep a look out for the album because I'll send you MP3 copy when it comes through.
Okay. Just before we go, we got one more track you're going to play for us, and it's again, it's off the Unbroken album, and it's called Hometown.
Yeah, I love this one. This is one. It's one that's not a love song as such. It's just about appreciating where you're from and where you live. I've been very lucky enough to be brought up along the south coast. I live literally just that way is the sea. I live on the cliff tops, so the sea's 2 minutes down the road. We had a massive thunderstorm last night, but it's so beautiful here. You might see it on Facebook. I do a lot of photography, and I put photos on about where I live. And it was a love song about my hometown. And wherever you go in the world, it's always nice to come home. And I feel very grateful to have that privilege.
Thanks very much for your time today.
You're most welcome. Thank you so much for having me on board, and we'll speak soon, hopefully.